right, can you talk in the microphones for me?
Sure.
You can. I don't know if you're gonna jump in. Let me just get a mic check.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm here for support.
All right, that's cool. Let me get a mic check from you.
1 2 1 2. Testing.
Awesome. Check.
Sounds good.
You sound great, brother.
I'm gonna do an air check for him, man. He's got a natural talent here.
Oh,
Do I sound banging?
Yes, you do. You're off to a great start. So what's the correct pronunciation of your name?
Jorge Colina.
Colina?
Colina.
All right, so that is Chief.
Yes, I missed that part.
Colina.
Yeah, I left that important part out.
Well, I want to first off start by saying congratulations.
Thank you.
To you. What does the position mean to you?
The position for me, honestly, I'm not even embarrassed to say it, PK, is this for me is like a dream come true.
Wow.
You know, what an opportunity for me to do all the things that I've thought about while I was coming up in the department, where I thought, you know, why don't we do this, or we should do that, or why don't we build over here in the community? Just things that were in my heart, and now I get to try to live that, you know, and not just speak it, but live it.
Right.
And that is, you know, I feel like I'm living a dream right now.
Can we start off with your humbling beginnings? How did you first get started in the force, and where you from originally, I should ask?
So originally I was born in Weehawken, New Jersey.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I grew up down here in South Florida. And, you know, I went to Miami-Dade College as a history major. I thought I wanted to be an attorney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and, but in my heart was law enforcement. And I remember telling my wife, honey, I wonder if I would disappoint people if I went to the police academy. And she told me, listen, you got to do whatever's going to make you happy.
Good wife.
Yeah. And that was, you know, close to 30 years ago.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I started in the police department, and I've been able to serve for, you know, almost 28 years, and it's been awesome. It really has.
So in the department, what are some of the areas that you were, you know, able to serve in?
Man, I've worked everywhere. I've worked from patrol to investigations to narcotics to special investigations, internal affairs, administration. I mean, I've worked over the years pretty much in every area of the police department.
And that's cool to be a chief and have that level of experience, obviously, because you can relate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. There is no substitute for experience. So, you know, you can be the smartest guy in the world, and that's all good, or go to school and learn a skill, that's all good too, but until you actually perform the task, then you can appreciate what it takes and what the tools that you need to be able to perform.
Right.
It gives me that perspective of what they need to be able to do their jobs effectively.
Now, obviously, coming up in the ranks, your last position was commander. What area was that?
Well, I was a commander back in 2009.
Sorry, my apologies.
No, that's okay. In 2009, I was the commander in Coconut Grove. We did a lot of community policing. It was something that I was excited to do. That year, through a lot of efforts of the police, we were voted one of the safest neighborhoods for a big city in the country.
Wow.
So that was super exciting.
Big accomplishment, yeah.
It was awesome. You know, we got such buy-in from the community, and that's what made it happen.
Okay.
And that's what I learned. That was the experience that you know what? The community has accepted me. They believe in me. I can't let them down. They believe in the officers. And when we all came together, man, powerful things happened. And we had a lot of success. And then from there, I just went to different divisions. I got promoted to major, worked in different sections, including internal affairs.
I forgot the order. That's why I messed up. I forgot after commander is major.
Yeah, that's cool. And then assistant chief in all three divisions, and now chief of police.
So, in Coconut Grove, there's a commander over there now, a young lady?
Yes, Chiquita Thomas Butler.
She's really good.
She is really good.
You have some really good commanders. Another commander that you have that I personally worked with, Gauss.
Sharice Gauss.
Gauss,
She's phenomenal. She's a major now.
She's a major now.
Yes, she was promoted to major, and now she is in charge of our entire North District, and she does a phenomenal job.
So with those key people, and it's very interesting, it's very cool that you have these powerful African American women. I just finished watching the movie Black Panther.
Yeah.
And the army were women.
Yes.
You know, and that was different. You don't get to see that. And I went to see it with my daughters, and that stuck out to them to see women playing those, powerful roles. You almost have the same thing going on.
Listen, we have it going on. Forget almost. We have, our police department fortunately has a lot of women. Well, first of all, demographic wise, the Miami Police Department, our department is probably a little over 30% black. The community is about 17%. So we're very well represented in the police department. The black women specifically in the police department have made themselves known in leadership positions. Not because anything was handed to anybody. I mean, we have a lot of women that have worked really hard and have moved up the ranks, and quite frankly, they're a force, man, and they're doing incredible jobs.
Do you plan on keeping things the way it is, or because I know sometimes when you come in, things shake up a bit?
Things have shaken up a bit only in terms of organizational elements. I'm going to move this to here, or this person's not going to be in charge of that. I've made a couple of promotions now because there were some vacancies. It is not my style to come in and remove someone and put my own person in.
Oh, wow.
Everybody gets an opportunity. I let them know what the expectations are, and then if they perform, it's all good. You don't perform, then we got to problem.
Right.
Everybody's accountable from the top down. Everyone has to be held accountable, and so that's the philosophy that
Chief, I'm so happy to hear you say that.
I appreciate it.
I'm so happy to hear you say that.
That's the fair thing to do.
No, it is, but it's sometimes it's not the thing that happens.
You're right.
And you do have some, and I just happen to know them personally. So I'm happy to hear that. But I know you have so many other people under you that you have to deal with. In light of what just recently happened with the school shootings, where do we go from here? I mean, I know it didn't happen in your area or any of your districts, but how do you think we move forward from something like this?
Man, PK, I think that we need to stay upset, and I know that may not sound like something that people shouldn't be upset, but they should, because what happens, and we've seen it time and time again, people get upset and they want to march, and all that is important to be heard. But then it goes away, and then we all forget. We're all comfortable again, and life goes on until we have the next tragedy. And what I think is important is that we stay on this. And there's just some things that are not acceptable, quite frankly. I don't know what would have happened with this guy who killed all these innocent kids. What I know for certain is that we shouldn't have things like a bump stock, a weapon fully auto. I don't know the need for that. In my personal opinion, we shouldn't have that. Some of these weapons that are combat weapons, honestly, my policemen can't protect themselves against this type of weapon. The Second Amendment, I'm a proponent. I'm a gun owner. My wife is a gun owner. Well, why do you need a combat weapon? That's, like I said, that's my personal opinion. I know that there's a lot of people that are proponents of the Second Amendment. Me too. I just don't see the need for that. And those are the things that we need to address. I think everyone has to do their part in protecting our children, not just my kids, but I need to make sure that your kids are okay too. I shouldn't just concern myself with me. I should concern myself with my neighbor, and then together as a community, if we're all watching each other's backs, we got a better chance, man.
Absolutely. I want to segue from that into something that you're doing, the gun buyback.
Yes.
It seems to be very important to you because we kind of spoke off air about it, and you were when it was mentioned, you were really excited about it. Tell me what the gun buyback is all about.
So the gun buyback, we've done them in the past. We actually had this planned before the tragedy in Parkland. It'll be March the 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Henderson Park in Little Havana, 971 Northwest 2nd Street. No questions asked. The idea is just to get some guns off the street. I mean, plain and simple. Sometimes, you inherited a gun. Your spouse passed away, for example, and you have no desire to have that weapon. Well, then, turn it in. Don't wait till something happens or you're burglarized and that's another gun on the street. So, I'll give you an example without mentioning any names. We had an elderly person come in and actually turned in an AK-47.
Wow.
And we were like, okay, this was an elderly woman. And so we asked her, not her name or where she's from, but how did you get to possess that? Well, apparently her grandson had been arrested and he left it in her apartment.
Wow.
Okay, no problem. We're not going to ask any questions. We're grateful to take in the weapon. It was an AK, fully auto, but that's one less weapon on the street. And that's the idea, man. It's just to try to help keep people safe. That's all.
And I think sometimes we, you know, maybe on my side we think of it as one way, but it's to me on many other levels. Maybe again, someone is not in the household anymore. Maybe you didn't have a child before. Now you have a child, and you want to make a conscious decision to take that, you know, gun out of the home because you have this, you know, child that's getting older and is gonna.
Well, that's a great point, because sometimes you want to own a gun because you're afraid, right? So you can feel better. You possess a gun in your home to be able to protect yourself. Well, that may change. Now you have kids. Your neighbor's kids are always over playing with your kids, and now it becomes a burden for you. You're more worried about possessing the gun than it making you feel secure. That's an example. Get rid of it if you don't want it, you know?
I actually have a personal story where my father's in law enforcement, and when we were younger, my cousin and I, you know, curious and stuff like that, and I knew he would keep his pistol under the bed, under the mattress. So just as a curious kid, you pull it out, you look at it, wow, you know, and then my cousin, I'd show him. Long story short, my cousin actually took it out of the home.
Wow.
And
yeah, and that's an example, and that's why it's important to, you know, gun safety. If you have kids, especially if they're old enough to understand, you need to sit down with them and talk to them about the gun and how it works. And if they're curious, to tell them it's okay to be curious.
Yeah.
Let me know, and I will show you. And you know, make sure the weapon is safe and those things, just to make sure that they don't go in there when no one's home.
And Chief Colina, that's exactly because of the lesson I learned. That's exactly what I did. Yeah. I did the responsible thing. I didn't make it become something scary for my kids, because I'm a gun owner as well. But I took them to the range, showed them the safety, and when you do things like that, sometimes they like, I'm good. Like,
that's right. You show
them,
enough,
you know?
This is what it looks like. This is what it feels.
Curiosity is straight, you know.
And now that curiosity is not going to become a tragedy. You know?
Absolutely.
Gun safes obviously are something that I think people should have at home if they're not sure, or they have kids. There's nothing wrong with having a safe at home where you keep your guns to make sure no one has access to them as well.
Can you give the information on the gun buyback again, please?
Sure, I appreciate it. It's going to be March the 17th, which is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Henderson Park in Little Havana, 971 Northwest 2nd Street. Again, no questions asked.
The flip side of it now, and I just want to bring this up because this is also a conversation I had with some gentlemen from the Pork and Beans area.
Sure.
Sometimes them even having a weapon illegally depends on their own lives based on the scenario that they're in. And sometimes these are things that we don't, you know, really realize. Well, I can't say you because, you know, you deal with law enforcement. These are some things that average people don't realize, you know, the climate of the violence and the situations that plague, you know, some of our inner cities. How do we start towards fixing those situations to make the people within those already, you know, in those areas feel safer amongst their own people?
Yeah, and you know, it's a great question because that's something that's very complicated, right? People
It is.
think, listen, man, I made a mistake when I was young, and so I'm not allowed to carry a weapon, but I know that there's bad people out here driving up, shooting the neighborhood up, and I need to protect myself.
Yes.
And it's a legitimate question, and I think ultimately what people need to decide, especially mature people, an adult, is that nothing good is ever going to come from you toting a gun, especially if you're in an area that is prone to gun violence. It's got to be the opposite, because somewhere we got to take the first step of, man, if I got a beef with you, I'm going to discuss it with you. And if it doesn't work out and I don't like you and you don't like me, well, that's fine. We don't got to like each other.
Right.
But we certainly don't need to shoot each other and ruin two lives because somebody's dead and somebody goes to jail. That makes no sense.
And create generational beef.
generational beef, and social media is powerful, and I post something about you, and now we got a beef, and at the end of the day, man, that's all nonsense. People need to put their guns down. You don't want to like each other, don't like each other, that's cool, but let each other live. I can go to my church, I can go and hang out in my park and shoot baskets with whoever I want to shoot, whoever I want to hang with. We don't got to be cool, but let's not kill each other. Somebody has to start that approach, and if little by little people buy in, then we're going to have a safer community. Put the guns down. Put them down.
I'm so happy you said that, Chief, and I'm going to kind of end off with this because I know you got a tight schedule. I actually do events in your city, all around your city. I call it the People Matter pop-up, and then I end off on Father's Day weekend doing a People Matter Festival, which is a huge festival that I do each year. I did the first one last year. We're doing one coming up this year, so I'm going to have to sit with your team and discuss that. But what I do with that festival is a call to action, which is a 24-hour ceasefire. And I just wanted to have this opportunity to explain really quick like what we were able to do and how effective, and just to see, just to get your thoughts on it. So it's something that bothers me as well. So we did these pop-ups in the Liberty City community because we were going to do the event at Charles Hadley. We ended up moving it to the other park, Range Park, which is over by 62nd across from Edison. But we would canvass the neighborhood, and pretty much what I'm asking of the community is for a 24-hour ceasefire. So the Friday evening before Father's Day up until the end of the festival on the Saturday is when we have the festival, we ask for 24 hours of no violence. So like I said, we start off with Liberty City and Little Haiti because that was the area that we were doing the festival in. Went into different communities, Pork and Beans, Lincoln Field, the community right behind the park that we ended up doing it in, Range Park. And we just did a pop-up, played music, fed 200 kids, everything for free, bounce houses, everything. And we just said, hey, we're having an event, and we're asking that the community just for 24 hours, just no gun violence, and let's see what that looks like. Let's have our kids come out to this free event, no charge, bounce houses, this, everything you can imagine, food, we're taking care of everything, and let's just enjoy life on this Father's Day weekend, which is kind of one of the most least celebrated weekends. Let's do that. Chief, we were able, I don't want to take full credit, and I want to also thank whoever decided not to be violent. We were able, through canvassing that neighborhood, to complete that 24-hour ceasefire in the Liberty City, Little Haiti area, and then based on the reports that I got, for another 2.5 months after we had the festival, I know you guys have trackers that track the
shot spotter.
Shot spotter. Nothing picked up on the shot spotter for another 2.5 months after the event. And I say that to you, and I say that because we were able to, with these pop-up events and with this festival, focus on the young people. I work at a hip-hop station, so my audience is 18 to 34. Everyone's scared of them. We tried to do it at Charles Hadley Park. They didn't want us, the homeowners. They were scared. I went to some of your team. Everybody's scared to entertain them. And I said, listen, we have to kind of break this barrier. It was, Major Gauze.
Yes, Major Gauze.
That gave me the opportunity to do it.
That's awesome.
At that park. And we were able to accomplish that. Because there are tons of festivals. And there are tons of great community things. But they're always geared towards an older audience, which I feel like you're preaching to the choir.
No doubt.
So sometimes it takes a little bit of ruffling the feathers to try something and accomplish it, to be able to say, see, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, and stepping just a little bit outside of your comfort zone is where really good things happen. Because you're right, everyone will have a comfort zone and they're worried to step a little bit out, but that's where the good stuff is, just a little bit outside the comfort zone. That ceasefire, man, I love that.
Thank you.
I love that idea. It would be great to grow it instead of one day ceasefire. How about a weekend ceasefire? A week ceasefire.
Absolutely.
That would be phenomenal, man.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. I think that's great.
Absolutely. And at the time, Commissioner Carollo was the one who had sponsored that, and it was a really good event. And thank you, because if it wasn't for at that time your commander, now Major, really stepping up and saying she would take it on, it wouldn't happen. So just just to attest to your team that you have,
we'll be talking about the next one for
yes,
sure.
Yes, for sure.
Talking about the next one for sure.
Thank you so much for your time, your ear. Is there anything that you want to say before?
No, man, I appreciate it. I'm excited about the opportunity, PK. Like I told you, as Chief of Miami, man, and I would love the support of the community. If you see something, say something. Worry about your neighbor, not just yourself. Be civil. Say hello to people, and good morning, and good afternoon, and let's all take care of each other, man, and maybe we can make something really special happen here in the city of Miami. I would love us to be the safest city in the country for a city our size, and we can do that. If people want to make it happen, it could happen. And it'd be great to get the help of your listeners, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, your support, and your passion for what you do. And I could see that big things are going to happen in the city of Miami, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. This was awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't mean to keep it all about the guns.
It was great.
I had to talk about something.
It's awesome. I love that.
Yes.
You want to take a quick pic?
I would love to. Let me get somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, Sharice is awesome. Listen, she's a force.
Yes.
It would not surprise me. And there's always a million things that have to happen. It wouldn't surprise me if in the future that woman's not chief of police.
Wow.
She's
she's a beast.
She's a beast, man.
She's a beast.
She's the real deal, and she don't play, and people respect her, and she works her ass off, and she's super smart and driven. I mean, she's got it all going for her.
That's cool. That's why.
Whether you like them or not.
Right, and I appreciate you saying that. Let me grab somebody.
Sure.
All right, buddy.
Morgan, can you do me a solid?
Is different, it's unique.
Can you do me a quick solid?
Like this one.
I'm not gonna bite
Obviamente
you.
it's targeting también
July.
otro nivel de
It's
gente.
okay.
Pero,
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry.
and this camera's cool.
Thank you. Morgan's gonna help us out. Can we go on this wall?
Morgan, how you
Good
doing?
morning.
Can we go on this wall?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Absolutely.